We're in the middle of January. Most people think that winter trips need to be expensive, complicated, or epic in order to be worth it. This one wasn't. I flew to Southern California and stepped away for one night, fast-packed 24 miles in the desert, and it cost way less than you think. This trip happened here as a part of a bigger vacation. My wife and I are in Palm Springs with some friends hanging out for 4 or 5 days right now. But because we were already so close to Joshua Tree, I asked if I could sneak away for one night and get out and do a fast packing trip out in the desert. I didn't need any extra flights. I didn't need any extra vacation days. Just one intentional overnight in the desert. For this video, I'm only going to talk about the backpacking portion of this trip, what it cost, how I planned it, and why ultralight and fast packing make trips like this possible. This is why I love going ultralight and fast packing, especially during the winter. I've got 2 days, 1 night, and 24 miles. Day 1 is planned to be the work day. I got up super early this morning and got out on the trail early. And my plan was to see as much of Joshua Tree National Park as I could in one full day. And so I'm doing close to 19 miles of my 24 miles all today. But I wanted to get out and not just go from the trailhead to my campsite. I wanted to get out and do some side ventures and be able to really get to see as much of the national park as I could in one short trip. But day 2, I'm keeping a little simpler because I can't stay too far away from my wife and our friends. And so I'm keeping tomorrow simple. So all I have to do is run 4 to 5 miles back out to get back to my trailhead. I'm gonna wake up super early anyway, and then I can be back and hanging out with all of my friends before even lunch tomorrow. As you guys have seen on a lot of my videos, going ultralight doesn't have to be about suffering. It's about bringing the bare necessities of what you really need so that you can move faster and cover more space to be able to see more. Now let's talk money, because that's what stops so many people from doing things similar to this. I live just over an hour or so away from the Denver International Airport in the mountains of Colorado. And so if you live anywhere close to an international airport, you'll find that you can find reasonably low, cheap flights to a lot of places across the world. For me, I knew that a lot of times those international airports go to other international airports many times a day, and a lot of times they make those flights pretty cheap. And so we were able to find a flight from Denver to Los Angeles for next to nothing. It was less than $100 US round trip per person. And for this trip, we already had a rental car, so I didn't need an extra one. But even if I would have had to have come out and just done this, the rental car was pretty cheap. I mean, nowadays there's so many ways in some of these larger cities like Los Angeles where you can get a rental car for pretty cheap per day and just get one for a couple days. For this trip, I had to have a backcountry permit. Joshua Tree can be pretty busy at times, and so they're really working a lot to make sure that they, one, know where everybody's at when they're out here, but also be able to limit how many people are out and making impacts out on the areas. But the permit was like $6. So I didn't really have to spend a whole lot of money, but I did have to do some planning ahead of time. Whereas a lot of places I go, I can just show up and just head off into the backcountry, and maybe you just sign a logbook or something at the beginning so that they know you're out there, but you don't normally have to do some of the permits. But for here, I had to. And then because this is a national park, there's also an entry fee. For me, I already have a park pass to all of the national parks in the US because I go to quite a few of them regularly each year. And so it just makes sense for me to be able to have that, especially because I've got Rocky Mountain National Park and a couple others that are close by. So for me, I didn't have to have and spend any extra money on a park pass because I already had one. But if you don't have one, then in a situation like this, maybe you have to spend an extra $15 or $25. It just depends on the park. Each one's a little different with their entry fees. But most of the time, that's per car. And that's a really kind of nice thing, especially if you do some of these trips like this with some other people, is that you guys would only have to pay that per car. So if you've got 3 or 4 people in the car, you could split that cost and it would be even cheaper per person. Because this was only one trip, I wasn't having to spend a whole lot of money on food and extra items and stuff for this trip. So it made it really easy to be able to just get out and enjoy the day. Fastpacking and going ultralight make flying really easy. Because my base weight for my pack was less than 8 pounds, I was able to just take my Fastpack, pack it all up, and then just toss it into my suitcase. And I still had plenty of space to pack all of the other clothes that I wanted to bring for the trip with my wife and my friends. But even if I wasn't doing another trip and I just wanted to do this as a quick getaway for a weekend, you know, I could have just carried my Fastpacking pack onto the airplane because it's small enough to be able to fit in the overheads. A few things that you have to be careful about if you're gonna take weekend getaways like this for backpacking is there's certain rules within the airports and certain things like you can't fly with fuel. And so if you're gonna have some kind of cooking source, you may have to actually work on being able to pick up the fuel when you get there. And then you gotta figure out what you're gonna do with disposing of that fuel when you're done, because you can't take it home once you've purchased it either. And a lot of the airplanes, you know, they're pretty finicky about things like stakes. Like if you're gonna try to carry your gear on the plane, then you may actually have to, you know, look at pulling some of those kind of things out and picking some of those up at another location, or you might have to check your bag because most airlines are not gonna allow stakes on the airplane. Same with trekking poles. A lot of times they won't let the trekking poles go on the plane. You know, it's something to do with sharp objects. And so you might have to check those as well. But if you've got some things like that and you're carrying, even if you're carrying more gear, you could easily be able to just check your bag. Just make sure that you don't have any items in there that they don't allow for the checked portions either. For this trip, I decided to keep it simple, and I'm going no cook because I didn't really want to have to deal with trying to figure out how to purchase fuel once I got here, and then only use one night's worth of fuel, which would hardly be anything, and then trying to figure out what am I going to do with a 90% fuel bottle that still has plenty to leave. So I would have had to spend a lot of extra time trying to figure out where to take that, who to give it to, or something like that. So for me, I just decided to make it easier for this trip, and I just went with no cook. Now for this one, because I was heading out to the desert, because at home right now, it's pretty cold and there's a lot of snow in the mountains. And so it's really difficult for me to do just a quick fast packing trip out without having to carry a whole lot of extra gear or trying to figure out how to get, and be able to do things in the cold. And so for me, I just wanted to be able to get out, enjoy something that's a little warmer than say back home, and just do something quick. But there's different rules out here than there are in the mountains because there's very little water around. And especially here in Joshua Tree, they would rather you bring in and pre-stage your water drops. And so if you're coming here for multiple days, you can actually, if you plan up early enough, you can come up, and there's a lot of times you can come in for little short day hikes from some of these trailheads and then go in and stage a water drop and just put a gallon jug of water, write your name on it and stuff, and be able to put it out in the desert so that whenever you come across it on your backpacking trip, you could replenish your water for that. For me, I didn't really want to do that because, like I said, this is a really quick trip, so I didn't want to need to take time to have to make 2 trips out here to be able to pre-stage things or have to spend time doing that before I got on the trail. So I ended up, when I was doing my planning, I found out that this trail that I wanted to do, that if I ran the whole trail and I went past where I was actually going to camp and just go see the rest of the trail on the other end of it, that when I get to the other trailhead, that there was a ranger station not too far from the trailhead that I could detour off of the trail a bit and then go replenish my water. So I just carried a lot of water with me. I carried 3 liters at any given time on my pack. And then I drank most of that today in that 19-mile day today. And then went to the ranger station, replenished that, and was able to bring, I think by the time I got to camp, I still had 2.5 liters. I will plan on drinking a good majority of that tonight. And then I'll leave just 1 liter of that for me to have tomorrow so that I could do maybe a half a liter drinking in the morning before I head out. And then I've got a half a liter to get me off the trail and back to my car, where I do have a gallon jug of water waiting for me to be able to replenish my bottles once I get to my car. Now pacing, because I did such a short trip here, like I'm literally only on the trail for a day and a half and then 1 overnight, but I wanted to see as much of Joshua Tree as I could. And so that's one of the really nice things about fast packing is that I'm able to cover a good bit of distance because I'm running on the trail. And so instead of me just coming out here and planning on going 4 or 5 miles into the park, finding a place to camp, and then going 4 and 5 miles back out, I was able to do 24 miles total for this trip. And I did 19 of those miles today. And that gave me the ability to kind of do some side trips out to some areas that were just amazingly beautiful that I never would have gotten to see if I weren't doing that. But the nice thing to me too about fast packing is like, I'm not running the whole time. I know a lot of you guys, give me a hard time because, and you tell me that, you like getting out because you like taking your time and really enjoying the beauty and the nature of everything around you when you're out. And I do too. But for me, the whole point of fast packing is that I can run some portions of it, and then when I get to a portion that I really, really like and I really want to pay more attention to, then I can walk for a while. Or if I'm tired for a little bit, I can take a break and I can just walk for a bit. But it allows me to cover more area than I would have been able to any other time. As you guys can see, I'm already in camp now, and we're losing daylight quick now. It's going to be dark here soon. And I wouldn't have been able to do half of the things that I did if I'd just came out here hiking. This is the part that a lot of people forget. When you go to think about, planning out a backpacking trip, a lot of times, and I used to do the same thing, I would always look for, I want to do this 5-day or 7-day or 2-week trip or something. And you always thought you had to do something big. But I finally started realizing I can get out and just do one night or one day out on the trail, and it just helps me reset the things that are going on in my life. Maybe, the stress of work or other things that are happening. Just spending the day out here on the trail today and being able to sleep out here and hopefully see some beautiful stars in this hugely open sky tonight is just going to be so resetting for me. Because for this trip, my setup is pretty small. And so it doesn't really disrupt the rest of my life or even this vacation. I was able to just toss my gear in with everything else and pop out here, take a little bit of time away from my friends and my wife, and be able to do something that I love. And my wife loves me doing this because she gets to have a day where now she gets to have a day, laying by the pool and enjoying a relaxing day where she doesn't have to worry about, feeling like she needs to be doing things to entertain me or other things that we might have been doing. Or, a lot of times we like to go see a lot of things. So she gets a little bit of a relaxing day herself as well. And tomorrow, when I get back, like I said, I'm going to get back pretty early. I've got a pretty easy day out tomorrow. I'll be back to the rental before a lot of our friends are even up tomorrow morning and be ready to hang out with everybody again tomorrow and spend the whole day with everybody. And then I'll just take my pack and toss it back into the suitcase and it'll be ready to take back home. This is, to me, what Ultralight really buys you, is being able to have options. Even if you didn't come out with as lightweight as a pack as I have, even if you checked a bag, you can take off and go do a quick weekend. If you're like me and you live in a place where, it's a little bit harder to get out, and during the winter portions, it doesn't mean we can't go other places that are just as beautiful and just as easy for us to get to. This wasn't a big expedition. It was one night, 24 miles, and a cheap permit. But it turned a normal winter vacation into a trip that I won't forget for a long time coming. This is a beautiful place that I may have never even saw while we were here if I didn't take the opportunity to just get out. You don't need more time. You don't need more money. Sometimes you just need a lighter pack and the willingness to step out and have some fun. If you're interested in what I actually brought out on this trip, check out this video here because I'll go into all of the details of each of the items that I actually brought out. I hope this was helpful for you guys, and I hope that this gave you that realization that you can get out and go enjoy yourself. Even if you're working like me, and maybe you only have a weekend to be able to get away, you can find the time to get out and still go have some fun. And it doesn't have to kill the pocketbook. As always, guys, I hope this was helpful. And I hope I get to see you guys out on the trail.